Eala's honest assessment after Dubai loss to Gauff. My job is to close the gap. Alexandra Eala reached the quarterfinals of the WTA 1000 in Dubai this week. The Filipino player had delivered strong performances to eliminate Jasmine Paolini and Sorana Sostia after benefiting from Hailey Baptiste's withdrawal in the first round. Despite the consistently strong support from the crowd wherever she goes, the 20-year-old player could do nothing against Coco Gauff. 6-0, 6-2 in 1 hour and 7 minutes. In a press conference after this defeat against the world number 4, the player ranked 47th in the WTA, but virtually 32nd in the live rankings, made a blunt assessment. There's still a significant gap between me, Coco, and other players of her caliber. For Eala, top 10 players are still at a level too high for her to beat at the moment. But she hopes to work towards achieving that in the near future. I think in the end, I certainly could have played better, but I also think there's still a significant gap between me, Coco, Gauff, and other players of her caliber. So, yes, I think she played very well, and my job is to try to close that gap, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job at it. So I'll keep working on it, and I hope next time, the match will be a bit closer, Eala told Tennis World USA. Not the kind done in inches or rankings points, but in something far more personal. Distance. The space between who she is and who she intends to become. My job is to close the gap, she said afterward. An assessment so honest it felt less like a quote and more like a vow. The distance between good and great. In modern tennis, the gap between promising and powerful is razor-thin yet immeasurable. It exists in milliseconds of reaction time, in the angle of a forehand, in the knife to go down the line on break point. On paper, Coco Gauff represents the new standard, Grand Slam champion, athletic marvel, global star. She moves like she's chasing destiny and strikes like she's already caught it. Across the net stood Alex Eala. No stranger to international courts, no stranger to expectations, and certainly no stranger to pressure. A former junior Grand Slam champion herself, she has long carried the hopes of a nation that sees in her not just a player, but a breakthrough. Yet in Dubai, the match was less about who won and more about where Eala stands in the evolution of her game. And she knows exactly where that is. Honesty as a competitive edge. There is a rare kind of courage in athletic self-assessment. Many players shield themselves with platitudes. I'll take the positives. It was a good learning experience. Necessary phrases, perhaps, but often incomplete. Eala's declaration was different. It acknowledged hierarchy without surrendering to it. My job is to close the gap. Embedded in that sentence is accountability. No excuses about conditions. No deflection toward scheduling. No quiet comfort in having shared a cot with a star. Just clarity. And clarity is dangerous, in the best possible way, because once you name the gap, you can begin to measure it. The anatomy of the gap. What separates a top-tier player like Coco Gauff from someone ascending like Alex Eala? It's not simply power. Eala has clean mechanics and controlled aggression. It's not belief. She has built her career far from the usual pipelines of tennis superstardom. It's not work ethic. Her training years in elite academies have sharpened both discipline and hunger. The gap often hides in subtleties. Shot tolerance under sustained pressure. Serve consistency at critical moments. The instinct to turn defense into immediate offense. Emotional equilibrium when momentum swings. In Dubai, those differences surfaced not as dramatic collapses, but as small edges accumulated over time. A break secured through relentless depth. A rally finished by a forehand struck without hesitation. A second serve attacked with conviction. Greatness compounds. But so does growth. The courage to compare. There is an unspoken psychological challenge when facing someone like Gauff. She is not just an opponent. She is a benchmark. For many players, sharing a court with a major champion can feel like standing too close to the sun, blinding, overwhelming. Yet Eala approached it differently, not as intimidation, but as calibration. Playing Gauff was not merely a match. It was a diagnostic test. Where does my backhand break down? How does my serve hold up under elite return pressure? Can I sustain the physical tempo required at this level? This is the mindset of an architect studying a blueprint, not discouraged by the distance between foundation and skyscraper, but energized by the possibility of construction. Representing more than herself. As the most visible Filipino presence in elite tennis, Eala carries more than her racket into every match. She carries visibility. She carries possibility. Tennis, historically dominated by players from Europe and North America, rarely features athletes from Southeast Asia at its highest tiers. Each time Eala competes on a major stage, she widens the imagination of what is possible for young players back home. But with that visibility comes scrutiny. Losses are not just personal setbacks, they become national talking points. Progress is measured publicly. Comparisons are constant. Her statement in Dubai did something subtle but powerful. It reframed expectation. Instead of claiming parity prematurely, she embraced the climb. And there is dignity in that. Losing as data. Elite athletes often describe losses as information. The match against Coco Gauff was not merely a result. It was a dataset. Where did rallies extend too long? Which patterns were exploited? How effective was her first serve percentage against a top returner? Closing the gap is not a metaphorical exercise. It is technical, strategic, physical. It means hours on practice courts refining serve placement. It means conditioning sessions to match the explosive coverage of the sport's fastest movers. It means rehearsing pressure scenarios until they feel routine. In Dubai, the loss did not expose inadequacy. It illuminated direction. The maturity of perspective. At an age when many athletes are still discovering their identity, Eala speaks with composure that suggests long-term vision. There is no rush in her assessment. No desperation to declare immediate arrival. She understands that tennis careers are marathons disguised as sprints. Gauff's current dominance did not materialize overnight. It was sculpted through years of exposure, setbacks, adjustments, and resilience. Eala appears willing to undergo the same process, and that patience may prove to be her most underrated strength. Closing the gap. What does closing the gap actually look like? It is not a single breakthrough victory, though that may come. It is not a ranking leap achieved in one season. Closing the gap is incremental. It's shaving seconds off recovery between points. It's turning a neutral rally into offensive control 2 shots earlier. It's converting break opportunities with calm instead of urgency. It's also internal. Believing, not abstractly, but concretely, that you belong on that court. Every time Eala competes against top-tier players, the unfamiliar becomes familiar. The pace becomes normal. The intimidation dissolves. And the gap narrows. The quiet power of accountability. In sports culture, confidence is often loud. It announces itself in bold predictions and defiant statements.